Alrighty, happy Tuesday, and it's your last day, and then you have fall break. So when we come back, we're going to do one-step equations, and part of one-step equations is knowing how to do positive and negative integers with all possible operations. So we need to make sure we keep those sharp and that we remember them, even though you're going to be out of school for 5 days. All right, so this is a riddle. It says match each problem with a correct answer from the box below. Place the appropriate letter on the lines and figure out the answer to the riddle. My riddle is, what can you hold without ever touching it? Okay, so now remember, integer rules. Do we like subtraction? No, so we have to add the opposite before we can follow any of our rules. So this is really adding. And what's the opposite of a positive? A negative. Okay, and then remember, we line up our decimal points, same signs, add and keep. So I know I got to add my 9 and my 9. That makes it 18. My decimal is going to be right before the 8. And I have to carry a 1. 1 and 8 make 9. And 9 plus 3 makes 12. And because they're both negative and I'm adding, my answer is negative. So then the next thing you have to notice is this says problem 1. This was our answer to problem 1. So we have to find that answer below. And it's a O. So at problem number 1, we're going to put an O. Okay. The next thing you also need to remember, fractions. Okay, when we are multiplying fractions, you multiply across. So this is really like 3 times 5 over 7 times 9. That's not a decimal point, that's multiplication. So then we get 15 over 63. Now, that is not in simplest form. I could have taken my 3 and 9 and simplified those to make life easier. So I'm going to divide both of these by 3. I'm going to divide by 3. And if you need to, you can do your work on another piece of paper. So I really have 5 and then 21 for my answer. Now, if you do your work on another piece of paper, you need to turn that in so then you get your credit for showing work. Remember, showing work is always worth something. All right, so that was problem 4. And we've got to find, and it is C. So at problem 4, there's 4. I got to put C. Okay. All right, so then you have 10 more problems on here to do. Remember, though, 6, that means you're taking negative 12 over 15 times a negative 12 over 15. Okay, so you would actually, 3 or 12 and 15 can both be reduced by 3. So that becomes a 4, and that becomes a 5. And the same thing over here. This becomes a 4, and that becomes a 5. 2 negatives make a positive. So we get positive 16 over 25. Okay. So then we go down. Problem 6 should be a positive 16 over 25. Now be careful because there's a negative 1 too. We did not have a negative because it was on the outside. All right, and that was problem 6. So 6 we put an N. All right, so you got a few more to do there. Your maze, if you notice, you should solve 10 problems in total. Okay, so make sure you are doing 10 problems. It, of course, is not going to be a straight line down. All right, when we add or subtract fractions, you always have to have a common denominator. These already have a common denominator, so we are fine. We don't have to change anything. Okay, but they have different signs. Different signs you subtract. So 7 minus 5 is 2, and we get 2/9. Now, if you notice, it's got to be a positive, so that means I got to go this way. All right, the next one, I have negative 2/3 minus a negative 3/4. Okay, first thing, it's in subtraction. We don't like subtraction. So we got to add our opposite. The opposite of a negative, a positive. Okay, different signs subtract, but we also need to get a common denominator. So if I multiply this by 3 and this one by 4, I really have a negative 8/12 plus a positive 9/12. Okay, I had 9/12 and you took 8 of them. I only have 1/12 left. So then we go down this way. Okay. All right. Mixed numbers. Remember, you may or may not have to borrow at some point. Okay. I like to set these up going 5 3/8 because 5 is bigger than 4. And I subtract my 4 and 1/8. I don't have to borrow, so that makes life a little bit easier. And just keep your 8. That does not change. And 3 minus 1 is 2. And 5 minus 4 is 1. If you notice, that is not an answer that is available because we have to simplify. 2 can go into 8 and 2. So I'm going to divide, keep my 1, and I get 1/4. So that means now we go this way. All right. So if I said you have to do 10 and I already did 3, you have 7 more to go. All right, so make sure you're doing as much work as you can, and this is being turned in no matter what. When the bell rings. All righty, be productive, and if you have questions, you can try emailing me if I'm available. I will answer your email. Have a great day and enjoy your fall break.